The Arrowhead 140 by Babcock International. The nearly 140-metre-long frigate is marketed as an export-ready multi-mission frigate with a flexible, highly capable design to give navies a, quote, fast, low-risk route to modern maritime power. It's the baseline design for the UK Royal Navy's Type 31 Inspiration class and has also been selected for the maritime forces of Poland and Indonesia. So in this video, let's take a look at how each country has chosen to configure their respective Arrowhead 140 frigates. Before going country by country, we'd first like to share the design's background. Per a press release from Thales, it was back in May 2018 that Babcock Team 31 unveiled Arrowhead 140 as its design for the UK Ministry of Defence's new Type 31E general-purpose light frigate programme. The design team, led by Babcock, included a handful of industry heavyweights, including Thales, OMT, BMT, Harland & Wolff, and Ferguson Marine. While the Arrowhead 140 is said to have UK engineering at its core, the design is actually based on OMT's Ivar Huitfeldt hull form, which is currently in service with the Royal Danish Navy. As such, the design put forward by Babcock was marketed as having lower program risks through a tried and tested baseline design, whilst being a, quote, truly leading-edge frigate. It was said that this wide-beam ship was easier to design, easier to build, and easier to maintain due to its slightly larger size. Additionally, Thales highlighted how AH-140 came with embedded iFrigate technology, able to deliver digitally enabled through-life support. Craig Lockhart, Babcock's managing director, Naval Marine, was quoted as saying, "More than just building a ship, Babcock Team 31 offers a unique opportunity for global navies to tap into the complete design, build, and support capability for the T-31E frigate. Individually, all of the Babcock Team 31 members have exceptionally strong portfolios of activity, and collectively we're able to introduce to the market Arrowhead 140, a general-purpose light frigate package that we believe is second to none." And so, following a comprehensive competitive process, Arrowhead 140 was selected to be the UK Royal Navy's newest class of warships. Per a December 2018 report by Navy Lookout, the Babcock team's Arrowhead 140 went up against the BAE Systems Camel Laird consortium with their Leander design, as well as a bid from Atlas Electronic UK and TKMS with their design based on the MECO A200. For the UK, the T-31 general-purpose frigate programme sees a fleet of 5 ships at an average production cost of £250 million per ship. Since we'll compare British, Polish and Indonesian specifications side by side, let's quickly go over the competitions held by the other countries. For Poland, Naval News reported back in 2022 that a strategic cooperation agreement with Babcock, Thales UK and MBDA UK had been signed, selecting the Arrowhead 140 design for the future multi-purpose frigates of the Polish Navy. Defence 24, reporting in 2021, noted that 3 frigate design proposals submitted by foreign partners were being considered: the Babcock Arrowhead 140, Spain's Navantia and its F100, and Germany's TKMS putting forward its MECO A300. By February 2022, Poland would remove the Navantia F100 from consideration, shortlisting the Babcock and TKMS bids. It's our understanding that in addition to the firm order for 3, the Polish Navy also holds an option in their contract to build up to 5 additional frigates in the future, which could eventually bring the total fleet size to 8 ships. Finally, for Indonesia, it's our understanding that the country did not hold a public formalized open tender or competition for the design of its future frigates. Instead, the Ministry of Defence chose the Arrowhead 140 through direct negotiation with British shipbuilder Babcock, subsequently signing a licensing agreement in September 2021. Indonesia has 4 Balaputra Dewa class frigates planned/on order. 2 were ordered in 2021, while another 2 were ordered in January 2026. So there's your extremely rough background on the 3 programs based on the Arrowhead 140 design. So how do they actually compare? Let's try and go metric by metric, starting with ship dimensions. For displacement, the Type 31 Inspiration class is said to have a strangely light full-load displacement of 5,700 tons. Poland's Miecznik frigates will have a full-load displacement of 7,000 tons, while it's said to be 6,600 tons for Indonesia's Balaputradewa class frigates. Length is the same for the UK and Poland at 138.7 metres. However, Indonesia's frigates are said to be a full 140 metres. According to an interview by Naval News with a programme officer at PT PAL, the Indonesian state-owned shipbuilder, Indonesia chose to lengthen the ship to 140 metres. It should be noted at this point that sources note up to 60% of the design was changed from the base Arrowhead 140 for Indonesia. However, it wasn't specified whether this 60% change figure applies just to base design or includes equipment choices. But moving on to beam, it appears to be the same for all three nations at 19.75 metres. For crew, the UK's ships are said to have a core complement around 100 to 105 personnel, with additional accommodation space for 40 to 80 extra personnel to support task forces, aviation crews, or humanitarian operations. Poland's ships will have a 120-person crew, plus space to accommodate approximately 60 additional personnel. And then for Indonesia, Naval News states that the frigates are designed to be crewed by 143 people. Asian Military Review states a crew of 177, but this figure is likely to include the non-core complement. So those are comparisons of size and capacity, but let's move on to performance. Reporting from Militarni says that the Type 31s have an endurance of 28 days. Several sources state that Poland's ships have an endurance of 30 days, while Naval News says that Indonesian frigates have an operational endurance of just 21 days. It's our understanding that the frigates from all three nations are powered by 4 combined diesel and diesel or CODAD Rolls-Royce MTU 20V8000 engines. For range/endurance, it's 9,000 nautical miles for Indonesian frigates, but interestingly only 8,000 nautical miles for the Polish ships. The Royal Navy says the Type 31 range is TBC, to be confirmed, although our guess is that it will of course be between 8,000 and 9,000 nautical miles. UK and Poland list their frigates as having a top speed of around 26 knots, while it's 28 knots for Indonesia. At the same time, upper limit speeds are typically publicly understated, and so we have a feeling that the 26-knot figure is actually higher. Moving on to armament, the Inspiration class has a 57mm Bofors as its main gun/A turret and a 40mm Bofors as its B turret. The ship's aft turret is a 40mm Bofors. Over in Poland, the main gun is an Otomelara SR 76mm, while the secondary forward gun and aft turret are Put Radwa Osu 35Ks, armed with Oerlikon KDA 35mm autocannons. Indonesia's ships will get the 2 Otomelara SR 76mm guns up front, one as the main gun, A turret, and another as the secondary gun, or B turret. The aft turret is said to be the Rheinmetall Millennium 35mm. We also know that the frigates will have 2 12.7mm Leonardo Lionfish RCWS. For missiles and torpedoes, the British ships have the following: a 24-missile Sea Scepter cold launch VLS with cam for the first 2 hulls, but later retrofitted with the 32-cell Lockheed Martin Mark 41 VLS during scheduled upgrades. Other ships will have the 32-cell Mark 41 VLS amidships. While no anti-ship missiles have been confirmed for the Type 31, some suggest that select ships may receive the NSM from retiring Type 23s, while future Mark 41 systems could allow the introduction of Stratus, formerly known as Future Cruise/Anti-Ship Weapon. Poland's frigates will get 32 Mark 41 VLS cells amidships, plus 2 quad-box launchers with NSM, and 2 Leonardo B515 324mm torpedo tubes per side, firing Mu-90 impact torpedoes. Over in Indonesia, frigates will be fitted with Midlas 64-cell VLS by Roketsan amidships. At the same time, these could be FFBNW, fitted for but not with. This means the ship is fitted for the part but not actually installed in order to save costs. Instead, it can be installed later as the need and budget allows. The Indonesian ships may also have canister or VLS-compatible surface-to-surface missiles/anti-ship missiles, but it's not yet known. They could be BrahMos from India, but this is just speculation. And finally, we end with ship sensors. We know the following for the UK's boats. Main radar will be Thales NS-110 S-band AESA, with multiple sources claiming a 280-kilometre range for the NS-100, although it's not stated how much the 110 model offers. The Royal Navy's Type 31 frigates will not feature a traditional bow-mounted sonar. And finally, Navy Lookout says the UK's Type 31 frigate is not equipped with an active anti-submarine warfare or ASW towed sonar array. Instead, it uses the Sonar 2170 Surface Ship Torpedo Defense or SSTD system known as Sea Center, which features a passive towed array exclusively designed to detect and decoy incoming torpedoes. Over in Poland, frigates will have the following. For main radar, there's the Thales SM410 Advanced S-band 3D multifunction radar with a roughly 400-kilometer range. The secondary radar is the Thales NS58 X-band AESA 4D naval surveillance and tracking radar, while the bow sonar is Thales Blue Hunter HMS. Finally, sticking with Thales, the towed array is the Captus II Advanced Low-Frequency Variable Depth Sonar. And then for Indonesia, the main radar is the Aselsan Senk 400N S-band AESA volume search radar, which, according to the site Turdef, has up to 400-kilometer range. Secondary radar is said to be the Senk 200N 3D X-band air/surface surveillance, but this is possibly FFBNW. Bow sonar is a Fursar hull-mounted sonar by Aselsan. Finally, there is no known towed array sonar fitted for these ships. So that's our own attempt at comparing the Arrowhead 140 frigate as adopted by the UK, Poland and Indonesia. We won't attempt to look at costs since each country has a different way of allocating funding. For example, the UK might report on the cost of the ships but not all of the equipment being installed on board. Meanwhile, another country might include funding for equipment plus costs associated with industrial cooperation, as well as long-term maintenance and training. The local cost of labour might be a huge complicating factor as well. One thing we will say on this topic, however, is that from what we've seen, the Polish variant is considerably more equipped than the UK's Type 31s. This, combined with their reduction to only 3 hulls, will likely mean a considerably higher cost per ship. All in all, it looks like Poland's ships are the best equipped, while the Type 31s are rather basic. Some might even call them glorified offshore patrol vessels. Now, it's worth noting that they're getting the 32 cells of Mark 41 VLS at some point in the future, and this will beef up its credentials. But, well, the sensors chosen are a bit of a disappointment. The Indonesians have considerable firepower installed on their frigates, and a 64-cell VLS is no joke, nor are the 2 76mm guns up front. But what do you think of the different versions of the Arrowhead 140? Let us know by leaving a comment.